Welcome, upcoming freshmen. This is the Murray-Callaway County Vocational Center. It's a great place for learning the trades and the skills needed for the workforce. So remember, learn your safety smartly so others don't have to suffer. Welcome everyone. This is the electrical classroom with your teacher Ron Thompson. In this class, Ron will teach you how to wire circuits, houses and industrial buildings with conduit. Before we get into that, we need to go over some safety rules. Alright, for the first safety rule, it's about safety glasses. You always want to be wearing safety glasses and make sure they have side protection to cover anything from getting in and hitting the side of your eye. If you don't wear these, piece of wire, anything screws could fly out and they could hit you and damage your eye. For the second safety rule, it's basically the same as the first one with the safety glasses, but with pants, because you want to wear long clothing so it protects you from any shrapnel or anything that could fly out and damage you or cut up your legs or something. Alright, for our third safety rule, we're going to be talking about never going near live wires or touching anything that could be possibly turned on. Because if that happens, no matter what, you're definitely going to get shocked. But if there is no cover and it's plugged in, touching any of these bare copper points could seriously damage you and put you in the hospital. Alright, for your fourth safety rule, we're going to be talking about always checking wires and cables for damages or cuts or anything. Because if there is a cut like this right here, how this is opened up and there's throughout the entire wire, nothing else is messed up, and then right there, that could cause your entire circuit to fail and cause a short circuit, or it could cause you to get shocked yourself and get injured. Alright, for the fifth safety rule, we're going to be talking about watching out for pinch points when working with your tools. So with these, you could catch your finger right in here, and it could pinch together, tear off some skin. Right in here, you could do the same thing. Over here, you just gotta always be careful and cautious about what you're doing when you're working with tools and working with anything that could injure you. Alright, for the last final safety rule, we're gonna be talking about never wearing metallic jewelry or clothing or anything that could possibly cause you to get shocked. This is just some copper wire for a demonstration, but if you go in and you're working on a circuit or something and you accidentally knock it against something that's on, you would easily shock yourself and cause some permanent damage, possibly.
Okay, and now it's time for the interview portion of the video. And I have here with me Jeff Steen, who I'd like to talk to and ask a couple questions. And so for the first question, Jeff, what have you done in the past and now for work?
What I've done for the most part for my life is I've worked in occupational safety and health. That would include all kinds of safety, which would include construction safety.
All right, great. And going along with that, our next question, I'd like to ask you, what are some general things you'd say happen that cause accidents?
There are two primary areas that cause accidents. One is unsafe conditions. And unsafe conditions can lead to accidents. For instance, you put a ladder up outside on a early morning day and there's dew out there. There's a chance that ladder is going to slip out. You don't tie it off. Well, you've created conditions that are unsafe. And we know oftentimes people in the trades have fallen off ladders at one time or another because of the ladder wasn't set right. For any number of reasons, that ladder wasn't set right and that was an unsafe condition. The second area is unsafe actions. By not setting that ladder right and tying it, securing it to the top, getting the right angle on it, the person's doing unsafe actions. This has nothing to do whether there's dew or not. They're just not putting that ladder up correctly. Now they go climbing up that ladder in an unsafe manner. Maybe they're carrying things up that ladder without having 3 points of contact at all times. Now that's an unsafe action. That unsafe action alone could cause an injury, just as the unsafe condition alone could cause an injury. But when we look at accidents in the trades, oftentimes it's a combination of unsafe actions and unsafe conditions. And in the trades, your likelihood of getting injured the first year can be anywhere from 5 to 10 times higher than after you're experienced. So by being aware of the hazards, planning ahead, In controlling those hazards, a person can greatly reduce the potential for injury. And when we fall off a ladder, sometimes those injuries are permanent.
That's perfect. And thank you for reminding me. A lot of what you'll do in the trades has to do with ladders and ladder safety. You'll need to learn that if you haven't already. And so that was very relevant. So thank you for that. And I think that'll wrap it up for the interview portion of this video. And we'll go on to carpentry now. Hello and welcome to the carpentry shop. So this class will teach you how to efficiently use measuring tools, safely use hand tools, and how to use all this knowledge in construction. But first, we have to go over some of the risks and some safety rules that should help with that.
The first safety rule is to make sure a guard is always on your tools and saws when applicable, and that the guards are not damaged or dysfunctional. As you can see, this table saw and chop saw both have working guards on them, and this is not only to lower your chance of cutting yourself, but to keep others safe.
So the second step is to wear appropriate PPE. So a good example would be long pants, closed-toed shoes, and safety goggles, eye protection in general. And when necessary, you're also going to need ear protection and hard hat.
Our last few steps each have to do with ladder safety. Remember things such as always keeping 3 points of contact and to never climb above the third step from the top. Also, make sure the legs on the ladder are all stable and the arms are fully extended. These are all precautions that are crucial to keeping you safe and stable on a ladder. While it may seem silly to go over ladder safety in a class like carpentry where you're mostly on ground level using saws and other tools, you are pretty much guaranteed to use a ladder at least one time in any trade. So it's important to learn your ladder safety to keep yourself and others from being harmed.
Hey guys, this is the culinary program at the ATC. The teacher here, her name is Chef Holman. She's going to be teaching this class, but I'm going to teach y'all some safety rules first before y'all come in and know everything. So, most important safety rule is knife skills, because if you don't have good knife skills, you can either hurt yourself or others, because if it's not sharp, if it's, you're not putting your fingers right, you can end up cutting yourself or hurting someone else behind you or in front of you, and you just kind of really need to know these safety rules. Alright, the next safety rule is PPE. We're going to teach you, so when you're in the kitchen, you never want to have shorts on. You either want to have pants, something longer to cover your legs just in case of like oil spills, it's not going to go straight on contact. So like when you're in here, you want to have a shirt on and a chef coat or an apron with long sleeves, and always have your hair up or have a hat on. If you don't, you can cause where the hair can fall on your food or get anywhere. You don't want that. If you have facial hair, cover it up. Never want to have that. Always make sure your hands are clean. That's like one of the #1 rules. Gloves, something like that. And always make sure you have closed shoes. You don't want to have open-toe shoes. That is not good for the kitchen at all. Alright, so I'm going to show y'all how to clean the dishes. Because if you don't have clean dishes, you can either cross-contaminate the food with cooked food, raw food. There could be dirty particles on it that you don't want in your cooked food. So you're gonna usually have a 3-row sink. One's gonna have your sanitized water in it, one's gonna have your rinse water, and one's gonna have your soapy water. You always start off with your soapy, scrub it down, put it in your rinse water, and then you dump it in your sanitizer water, and then you set it off to dry, or you run it through a dishwasher. You never don't go through the 3 steps. If you don't go through the 3 steps and check it, it's not right, it's not clean. That's all you basically need to do, and you should be done. Alright, so I'm going to show y'all, so when you got a hot pan, you never want to use a wet rag, because the heat, it goes right through it, and it burns your hand, and you can get like a 1st degree, all those burns you can get. You don't want that. So when you go to grab it, you never have a wet towel, so you always want to use an oven mitt, or something kind of like this, a pot holder. You never want to use a wet towel. Now, there's certain ways you need to pick it up, because and never touch that with your bare hands. Always come up, grab it, and alright, so I'm gonna show y'all. When you got a pot of oil, you have to have it a certain way, because if not, someone could run by and it could hit it, and if it falls over, you can either burn yourself or you can hurt someone else really badly, then possibly might have to be sent to the hospital. So when you have your pot of oil and it's hot, never have your handle sticking out. You always need to turn it back to the back eye. And if there's something back there, move it. And never kind of have it up too high, because if it starts overboiling, it could explode, especially if maybe you get water or something in there, it could explode and it could end up causing grease fire, anything. And speaking of grease fire, when you have oil in the pan and if it's hot, don't ever add water to it.
This is the Murray-Callaway County ATC welding program. In this program, you will learn many different processes in welding, and also in general, you need to learn your safety to keep you and others safe. One of the main first safety rules that you will learn in this shop is your PPE, which would be full long pants, long sleeves, 100% in cotton, leather boots, as long as you will have welding gloves, safety glasses, and a welding cap or welding hat to protect your hair and your head. Your second general safety rule in welding is something you'll learn is your welding hoods. Most of the time you'll get a solid dark when you come in, or if you buy your own, you'll most likely get an auto dark. These stay one shade all the time no matter what you're doing. These, whenever you have them on, you could be welding, not welding, it doesn't matter. You'll be able to see through them, and it'll also keep your eyes protected. Another general safety rule you will learn in the welding shop is if you are welding in an open area, you will need to put a screen in front of your welding to keep anyone else from getting blinded or having their eyes get hurt while you are in your welding process. Or if you're in a booth, you'll have welding covers of this shade or lighter, depending on where you are at, to keep other people from getting hurt. Lastly, normally you will always check before you ever weld or do any hot work for any flammables, as in wood, boxes or paper, anything around that can light on fire or ignite to cause you or anyone else from getting hurt.
And that will conclude our safety video. The purpose of this video was to teach you all what to do and what not to do in the trades. So we greatly encourage you take what you've learned and apply it in the workshop. This will help you and others to stay safe and better enjoy class. Thank you all for watching, and have a great rest of your day.